as well as cases via Zoom. If you are a defendant charged with one or more criminal misdemeanor offenses, whether you're appearing via Zoom or whether you are in the courtroom, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. When I call your case, that's probably going to be the first question I ask you is, do you have an attorney? And if you don't, then you have a couple of options. The first option is to see whether you want to be represented by counsel, because you do have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you can apply for the services of the Public Defender's Office. And if you financially qualify, they can represent you. So if you don't have an attorney, that's an option that's available to you. We have Ms. Catrice Helen or someone from the Public Defender's Office can put information on the chat feature of Zoom for you to reach out to the Public Defender's Office and obtain such an application. For those of you in the courtroom, we have Public Defense Attorney Mr. Rofoff seated to my right. And if you want to obtain an application, you may do so by approaching him. Again, for those of you who are appearing via Zoom, please make sure that you're not driving, you're not smoking, having breakfast, or otherwise conducting yourself in an inappropriate manner. This is a formal court proceeding. If you have any documents that you plan to send to the court, we've also placed information in the chat feature as to whom you would be sending the documents via email. Please make sure that when you email any document to our litigation manager, that you put your name and the case number in the subject line. All right, I'm going to be doing a brief roll call to get the status of the cases. And while you are waiting, when you hear your name call or your attorney's name called, please make sure that you mute your screen. So presently, please, you unmute your screen. Presently, make sure your screen's on mute. Your video is on, but that you unmute. On my Orca E final calendar, Mr. Rousey, good morning.
Good morning, Judge. I'm here.
We can't hear you, sir.
Pardon?
Oh, Tom Rousey?
Yes. Yes, Judge. Can you hear me? Judge, can you hear me?
Mr. Wang, is that your attorney, Mr. Rousey, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Rousey is
Okay,
speaking.
just one second. Just one second. No, it's not your audio. It's my computer. I'm so sorry. For some reason, it got put on mute. Okay.
All right.
I can hear you loud and clear. Sorry.
All right. Can you hear me okay, Judge?
Yes, sir. No, it was my computer.
Okay. Yes, we're here this morning, Judge, and I've got the plea paperwork. Mr. Wang, if I could speak with him either in a chat room or I can talk with him directly off a cell phone, he should probably be able to get that paperwork, and we should be able to enter a plea this morning.
Mr. Glanville, could you place attorney Tom Rousey and Mr. Xiaoting Wang in a breakout room? And Mr. Rousey, are you representing a Jermaine Gordon as well? Is that person in
Yes.
on my calendar?
He's not on your calendar. Well, if he is, I'm pleased and happy to take that up to date also.
No. I only reading that off your Zoom panel. So that's how you're listed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Just wanted to clarify.
All right.
Okay. So you're going into a breakout and then we are going to address the plea. And
Okay.
our prosecutor for today is Mr. Rita Giffier. Okay, thank you. Ms.
All right,
Giffier, we have we have Mr. Travis Toe, attorney Mr. Toe in the courtroom, and he's waiting on the plea paperwork for position 3 on the Orca final plea calendar.
I'm working on that now, Your Honor. I will get that to him. And who's the litigation manager this morning?
It's going to be Essence Smith.
And I will get that to
Valencia Younger, sorry.
Okay. I will get that to Ms. Younger in just a few minutes.
Thank you. Yvonne Sue Hogan. Yvonne Sue Hogan. Not present. She might appear in
Your
person.
Honor, I don't know if she's having a problem with the Zoom link or something.
Have you heard from her?
I spoke with her last night. I would give her a call. And it might have been her just calling right before court started. She may need the Zoom link. I would give her a call and see if that's what she needs.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you. And that was in my Orca add-on. Going just to the regular Orca final plea calendar, Tiffany Busby.
Your Honor, good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Johnson.
Yes, oh, sorry, so he popped right up. Okay, and we're ready for a plea?
I haven't talked to my client, and I also need to talk to the prosecutor.
Okay, you'll probably need to do it via Zoom, so you probably have to get her on your phone,
Okay,
or you can speak to her on your cell phone. Does she have your number?
I don't know, I didn't know we had a Zoom option because my client drove from Alabama. Uh, But I'll figure it out, I just need the Zoom link.
Okay. If you have a seat, Ms. Redden or Ms. Younger will give you this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Githea, the attorney for Ms. Busby, she is present. Attorney Clarence Johnson will need to speak with you, and you can either do that via Zoom link or we can obtain his number and put that in the chat to you, okay?
Yes, I can probably just get his number and give him a call.
Yeah. I don't remember the dates.
Jordan Coben, attorney Sarah Flack. Jordan Coben. Okay, Dale Eugene Davis is present with Mr. Toe waiting on the plea paperwork. Michael Flanagan is present in the courtroom and he's applying for public defense services. Oh, Mr. Glanville, could you please put Mr. Wang and Mr. Rousey in a breakout, please? All right,
Yes, Your
gentlemen,
Honor.
you should see a message on your screen. Rodney Langford.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if you could just go back to Michael Flanagan, was he in court?
He's in courtroom. He's applying for the public defender's office. Is there an announcement in that case?
I had that Russell Burnett was representing him.
Mr. Burnett's unfortunately passed away.
Oh, okay.
So that's the announcement. Rodney Langford, again, represented by George White. All right, Mr. Langford's not present.
Mr. White is with the Metro Conflict Defender's Office.
All right. Well, Rodney Langford's supposed to appear, so I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, thank you, Mr. Cohen. Dominic, and I'm going to the status calendar. So, Mr. Toe, we're waiting on the plea paperwork for you. Mr. Johnson's going to talk to Ms. Githea. Okay. Dominic Barron, that's on the status calendar. Dominic Barron's not present? I'm here. Oh, finally remembered her name. Okay. Ms. Barron, who's your attorney?
I just found out, that's why I can't court, I don't have no money for the time.
All right. If you have a right to remain silent, anything you say about the facts of the case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to counsel. If you want to apply for the services of the public defender's office, that's free. And if you qualify, they will be able to represent you. Would you like to apply for the public defender's office? All right. If you come forward, you can have an application. There's a table at the back and you can fill it out.
I'll get your other one.
Aaron Bethia, he was the gentleman who showed up yesterday. Aaron Bethia, not present. Well, that's unfortunate.
If he doesn't appear by the end of the calendar, Your Honor, the state will request a bench warrant, as he was aware that he had court today.
I apologize, Judge. Which position was that?
2 and 3. He was the
Well, Judge,
gentleman.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
came yesterday.
Mr. Bethea was the individual who came yesterday, and I spoke to Mr. Bethea. He did not qualify. I don't know why he didn't appear today. I can give him a call. To ask
That
him.
would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Langford is here.
who?
Langford.
Oh. What's the final plea, Marcus? Okay,
I'm sorry.
just to go back to the final plea calendar, Rodney Langford just showed up. Where are you?
Stand up, Mr.
You
Langford.
hear your name? Yes. Mr. Langford, where's your attorney, George White? Your attorney. Who's your attorney?
The court gave me an attorney.
Have you been in touch with him?
No, I've been in federal pen.
You've been what?
In federal pen.
Okay. And Mr. Corn, you said he was represented by conflict? I'm sorry, you're on mute. Mr. Corn, you're on mute.
Yes, Your Honor. It's on Odyssey, and according to Odyssey, Mr. White is with the Conflict Defender's Office.
All right, have a seat, Mr. Langford. Xavier, back to the status calendar. Xavier Bobo? Xavier Bobo?
Your Honor, I did send a request that case be reset so that it can be scheduled with the companion case for a global resolution.
What's the court date for the next case? 20
It's
CR?
It's not set, so whatever this.
Okay, we're gonna reset it, both cases, Mr. Xavier Bobo and 20 CR 980F to May 4th, status calendar at 1:30 PM.
Thank you.
And I represent him on both of those cases.
You represent both of them?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Roffoff is the attorney. Can you file an entry on behalf of the Public Defender's Office?
Probably what happened is I filed the entry on one and didn't file an entry on the other. I will check that.
Thank you. Adrian Coley? Adrian Coley, C-O-L-E-Y. I see a Miss Adrian Coley there.
She
Okay.
is online, Judge, and I represent Ms. Coley. I need to speak with her I've been talking with her in the chat. A plea offer has been made. I haven't heard back from her, so I'm gonna try to see what she wants to do.
Do you have a phone number?
Yes, I do.
All right, why don't you call her? She's on her cell phone right now. Okay?
All right. I do have other cases coming up though, Judge.
All right. Next one is Eric Colville. Eric Colville. I think I did see a mistake. Is it Eric's iPhone? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Mr. Colville, it looks like you're appearing pro se. Are you still representing yourself or?
I
Okay.
honestly don't even know what I'm in court for. So I'm messaging one of the representatives right now to see what I'm here for today.
Have you spoken to the Public Defender's Office to see if you qualify?
No, I haven't.
Would you like to, or would you like to
Yes,
represent
please.
yourself?
I
Okay.
like public defender.
You need to look at the chat. You need to get the information from the chat feature and how to reach out to the Public Defender's Office.
I'm doing that now.
Okay, thank you. You're contacting the wrong person. Need to read the chat a little better. Miss Helen, yeah, read all the chats.
All right.
Crystal Crankshaw. Crystal Crankshaw. Crystal Crankshaw. Not present. David B. Davis. David Davis. David, middle name B as in Buzzy B. Davis.
Hello, I'm here.
All right. And Mr. Davis, your
Yes, ma'am.
attorney.
How
is
you this morning?
Who's your attorney?
Christopher Campbell.
Has Mr. Campbell filed a leave of absence?
I'm not sure. I spoke with his office on yesterday. The assistant told me that I didn't have to log in due to, I guess it was supposed to be rescheduled for May or June. But that's all I got from assistant on yesterday.
Yes, I am saying that Mr. Campbell did file a leave of absence. Leave of absence, Your Honor.
Okay. This case is reset to May 4th. Excuse me, I know I'm giving the wrong day. It's May 5th. Oh, is this on the jury trial? Okay. Oh, it's already done? Okay. Mr. Davis, please let your attorney know when he comes back from his break that this case is going to be scheduled for a jury trial. A case management order has already been issued, so you should get summons for a trial in the future. Make sure your address and all information are current and correct. And from this moment onwards, all appearances must be in person, no more Zoom.
Okay.
Did
And you
get all
said June
that?
12th is the next,
The next court date will be sent
yeah,
to you.
the next court date is June 12th? Okay,
The next court date will be for a trial, a jury trial. You and
Okay.
your attorney must be ready, and you cannot appear via Zoom. Everyone must appear in person.
okay, cool.
All right, thank you. Travis Davis, Travis Lamar Davis.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
All right, and Mr. Davis, how are we proceeding? Who's your
I
attorney?
had a public defender on the last time I was supposed to appear, Mr. Derek Howard, but I was calling the last few days to try to get who was taking my case now from the public defender's office, and nobody's called me back yet. Because I was here on the, this is March the 28th, on the March 28, 21, because I had emailed him videos and everything that this case was in reference to.
Miss Helen, do you have any information as to who's representing Mr. Travis Davis?
We do not, Judge, but if Mr. Davis would like to speak to either Mr. Korn or myself to see if he qualifies, we can do that this morning, Judge.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Davis, you're going to be in a breakout to speak to Miss Helen or Mr. Korn shortly.
Yes, ma'am.
Jasmine Dewberry? Jasmine Dewberry? Miss Dewberry?
Good morning, I'm here.
All right, and who's your attorney?
I don't have one.
All right, do you like to speak to the public defender's office or do you want to represent yourself?
I think I can represent myself.
Okay, we'll be addressing your case shortly. Ms. Githia, do you have an offer for Ms. Dewberry?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days. The balance is suspended and the case will close out.
Thank you so much.
No, Ms. Dewberry, you don't understand what you just said.
Oh,
The prosecutor is making an offer that if you decide to plead guilty to the charge of simple battery, that they will sentence you to time served. In other words, they will take the 2 days that you served in jail and then close the case out. But there will be a conviction on your record.
oh,
Now, I thought there would be a different response then.
right.
All right, so I'm going to give you a few moments to think about it. And then if you decide to accept the recommendation, we will send you the paperwork. You would need to fill that out and send it back today so we can do your plea today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sammy Dinkins.
Your Honor, that's my case. Mr. Dinkins is here in court or in the on the Zoom. He has decided to accept the state's plea offer. The state has sent the plea paperwork to me. I just need to get together with Mr. Dinkins to fill it out.
All right, let me know when you are ready with the paperwork, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Shiok Kalfani Duckett. Shiok or Shioke Kalfani Duckett, D-U-C-K-E-T-T.
The state will request a bench warrant, Your Honor.
All right, we'll wait till the end of the calendar. All right, see Ms. Ms. Yvonne Hogan is present, so we'll be addressing her shortly. Luis Aiden Escobar Rivera. Luis Escobar Rivera.
I'm showing that he failed to appear September 3rd, 2019. And the state requests a bench warrant.
And that's for position 13 and 14.
Correct. He failed to appear on September 3rd, 2019, and that one as well, Your Honor.
All right. Andrea Gilliland. Andrea Gilliland or Gilland. Andrea Shannon Gilliland.
The state requests a bench warrant.
All right. The next name is Gianna Hardy. Gianna Hardy. Gianna Hardy.
Ms. Hardy failed to appear July 22nd, 2022. The state requests a bench warrant.
All right. Sean Hadley or Headley. Sean Headley.
I'm here, Honor.
That's my case, Your Honor. I think we're close to a negotiated plea on this case. I need to speak with Ms. Githea briefly, and I believe that we will be able to resolve this case.
Is that the name Young Dash? Is that Mr. Sean Hadley?
That is Sean Headler, yes.
Okay, so we'll need to correct that name. So you, I'm sorry, close to a plea?
Yeah, I believe we'll be able to work this one out.
Okay, so you'll need to, do you need to talk to the PD, to the ASG or to Mr. Headley?
Ms. Githea.
Okay.
I apologize, Judge, for interrupting you. I just need Mr. Davis's number. I'm gonna give both of those people a call to qualify him. Mr. Davis, can you read out your number for me, please? Travis Davis. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. It's 334-746-1805.
Thank you so much. It's going to boot you off of the Zoom call. You can't do a phone call as well as a Zoom call on a single device. Okay, so it'll boot you out. So just turn your camera off when I call. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there anyone on the Zoom who is a defendant and whose name I did not call? This will be the time to unmute and let me know.
And Judge, I apologize again. I'm trying to call Mr. Bethea. I didn't get a phone number from him yesterday. We had a breakout session and I didn't get his cell phone number. I'm going to try to call the phone number from Odyssey to see if I can get in contact with him. But Judge, I asked that not be a bench warrant. He did appear yesterday. We did speak about at least him being qualified, Judge. But I'm going to try to call that phone number from Odyssey to see if I can get in contact with him.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, so no one on Zoom. Anyone in the courtroom whose name I did not call? All right, yes, sir.
Stephen Lively.
Spell the last name.
Lively.
L-I?
Lively.
Stephen Lively?
Lively.
Lively.
He's number 2 on the Orca A status.
That's at 1:30, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, you're here now, but your calendar is actually at 1:30 p.m. So have a seat. And who's your attorney?
I'm just representing myself.
Okay. Ms. Githea, do you have the cases at 1:30 as well?
Ms. Riley is going to be handling those, but which defendant was that?
Stephen Lively, Lively.
He's petition 2 on the Orca A status 1:30 p.m.
Okay.
calendar.
Yes, I can place the state's offer on the record.
Okay.
For Stephen Lively, fishing or hunting without a license is payment of $100 plus all applicable surcharges and costs.
All right, Mr. Lively, do you know the charges that have been brought against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the recommendation.
Yes, I'm good with that. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Githea, you might want to send the plea paperwork for Mr. Lively.
Okay. And I'm almost done with the one for Dale Davis. Just give me one moment.
Thank you. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Jordan Coburn.
Coburn?
Coburn, yeah, C-O-B-U-R-N.
Yes, position 2 on the add-on final plea. And Mr. Coburn, you're here for a final plea. You're represented by attorney Sarah Flack. How are you proceeding?
She's on her way.
Okay, as soon as your attorney comes in, please let us know. All right, folks, Mr. Rousey and Mr. Wang, how are we proceeding? Mr. Rousey?
Yes, Judge. I've got all the paperwork. I'm just scanning it in. I'm going to send it to the litigation manager. And we'll be ready to enter a plea if the court is willing to accept
Yeah.
it.
All right, as soon as I get the paperwork, I'll be able to proceed. Ms.
Okay.
Githia, I'm going to address position 1 on the Orca add-on. This is State versus Yvonne Sue Hogan. Ms. Hogan, could you please unmute? I can't hear you. You need to unmute your device. You got
Okay,
it.
okay,
Yes.
thank you.
My name is Judge Lal, and we're going to proceed with your case. State versus Yvonne Sue Hogan, charged with theft by taking. Case number 20 CR 006-064C. Ms. Hogan, you do have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, but I see that you've chosen to represent yourself. Have you read through the document in which indicates a waiver to right of counsel?
Yes, and I signed all the paperwork. I turned all the paperwork in.
All right.
I've done everything that I was supposed to do, I believe.
And you understand the consequences of representing yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is going to be a negotiated plea, so I need to place you under oath for purposes of this plea. Could you please raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Githia, what's the plea recommendation for Ms. Hogan?
It is 12 months to serve 5 days, credit for time served 2 days, no additional jail time. Balance suspended, case closes out today.
All right. Ms. Hogan, this is the recommendation, and I believe you've filled out all the paperwork that's necessary. It looks completed. Are those the terms to which you've agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree that in this particular case, the factual basis, the identity of the defendant, and the venue, Fulton County, are all true and correct?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. What did you say again?
Do you agree that the factual basis supporting the charge of theft by taking is correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree that the identity of the defendant, that is you, is correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree that the incident occurred in Fulton County, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've read through the documents. Are you willingly giving up your right to go back to court and have a trial, to confront
Yes,
your
ma'am.
accuser, challenge
Yes,
the
ma'am.
state? Well, let me
Yes,
finish. I got to go through all these rights. To challenge the state's evidence and to have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of theft by taking?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 5 days, credit for time served 2 days. You don't have additional jail time, balance suspended, case closed. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You are free to go.
Okay, thank you. Thank
You're
you. All right. I'll get off of there.
We can remove her, Mr. Glanville.
Yeah, can you help me?
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang on.
I'm removing Ms. Hogan. I apologize.
That's all
Okay.
right. No worries.
No worries. Thank you.
Anything from Mr. Rousey?
Not yet. He just got my email.
Anything from Ms. Githia, from Mr. Davis?
I'm working on it, Your Honor.
Okay. Who needs to go into a breakout? I think it was Mr. Korn.
I do, but I'm on the phone right now.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready. I thought I saw Mr. Johnson somewhere here. He stepped out again? Okay. And Mr. Ruffa, what about Mr. Flanagan?
Number 1 on the status conference calendar, Dominique Barron.
Status, yeah.
She does qualify,
Okay.
but she would like to hear the state's offer.
Ms. Gathia, I know you're multitasking. This is position 1 on the status calendar, Dominic Barron.
And I number, if
12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served 4 days, ballot suspended. For Dominique Barron.
All right. All right. Mr. Roffoff is conferring with her.
and on number 4 on the final plea calendar, Michael Flanagan, he does not qualify.
Thank you. Mr. Flanagan, would you like to take the podium, please? All right. Mr. Flanagan, this case is 18 CR 010191G. You are charged with 4 traffic-related offenses, including DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol while driving a commercial motor vehicle, reckless driving, possession of open alcohol container, and operating a vehicle that's unregistered. These are the 4 charges brought against you. They were from April 16, 2016. Ms. Githia, do you have a plea offer?
For Mr. Flanagan, it is. I'm sorry, just one moment, Your Honor. For count 1 and 3, 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance probated, a $600 fine, alcohol drug evaluation and any required treatment, 40 hours of community service, a risk reduction program, 1 victim impact panel, and counts 2 and 4 would be null prost.
All right, Mr. Flanagan, you do not qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office. You do have a right to represent yourself, but you have to keep in mind that any legal decision you make will be based upon your research and your knowledge of the law. These are the charges that were brought against you back in 2016, and this case still remains open and active and pending. How would you like to proceed?
Yeah, no, I'm not guilty. If I have enough time to get a lawyer,
All right.
I can pay for a lawyer as well.
From what I understand, Mr. Flanagan wants to plead not guilty. So I just want to make sure that this case has been arraigned. Mr. Roffoff, does Ms. Dominic want to consider the plea, or are we going to trial? The
I
lady,
think that we're gonna have a plea, but I'm not sure. I haven't. Did you?
all right. Mr. Flanagan, I'm going to arraign your case today. I'm going to generate a case management order. All right, and this case is going to be scheduled for trial. In the meantime, make sure that you retain counsel, and your next court date must be in person, and you and your attorney must be ready and prepared to move forward with trial. Do you understand?
Right.
All right, so do you want me to read the charges as accused, or do you waive a reading of the charges?
What she just said,
I don't understand what you just said.
what she just stated, I heard what she stated.
Would you like me to read them again?
What is the question?
Do you want me to read the charges, the accusations, or do you waive? In other words, not read the charges and just go straight to your rights on arraignment?
Yes, I just need time to get a lawyer, whatever.
All
I'm
right.
just waking up. I don't
I'm sorry, Mr. Flanagan?
work at night, so I'm just waking up. I'm sleeping.
You're just waking up?
Yeah.
Do you need a few moments so that you can understand what I'm saying?
No, I have no time to get an attorney. That's no.
This case has been pending since 2016.
I know it's been so long. That's why. I
Yeah,
know,
but unless you go to trial, the case remains open and pending.
right. How long do I have to go to trial? That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be in a couple of months.
Okay, they give me enough time to get a lawyer. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So The 4 misdemeanor charges brought against you are driving under the influence of alcohol while having a commercial driver's license, reckless driving, possession of an open alcohol container, and operating a vehicle that's unregistered. The alleged offense occurred on April 16, 2016 in Fulton County, Georgia. You need to pay attention. If you're falling asleep, I can take it up at the end of the calendar and you can sleep for about an hour and a half.
All right.
Are you paying attention?
Yes, ma'am.
These 4 criminal misdemeanor charges have been accused. And so I'm going to reset this case for a jury trial. Does the state object to a bench trial?
Yes, the state objects to a bench trial, Your Honor.
Okay. So at the jury trial calendar, you shall appear with your attorney. Do you understand, sir? And you should be prepared to go to trial. You are presently legally presumed innocent of these charges. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for trial where the state would have the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state does carry its burden of proof and you are convicted of one or more of these charges, you could be sentenced to up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. So given this information, how are you pleading?
Not guilty.
All right. This case is going to be scheduled for a jury trial. A case management order shall issue. Mr. Flanagan is put on notice that he needs to appear and will hire an attorney. Do we have your, okay, there we go.
It's your correct, address. It's not your correct, okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Flanagan. Mr. Rousey and Mr. Wang, are we ready?
Yes, Judge. Well, I believe we're ready. I sent the paperwork in.
I've got it.
We're all signed up.
Yep, good. Okay.
If you could give me just one moment, Your Honor, I'm doing Mr. Lively's plea paperwork. I'm about to send that.
Okay. I'm discarding the waiver of counsel since he's represented, so I don't need that. Oh, boy. You're way ahead of me. There we go. Oops, page 1 and 2.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I forgot.
You done? You done?
No, I went upstairs to pull Mr. Lively's file.
And I've just sent the plea paperwork to Ms. Younger for Mr. Lively.
All right, thank you. We are going to address position 1 on the Orca E final plea calendar. That's State of Georgia versus Xiaoting Wang. Mr. Wang's case number is 20 CR 005467E. The misdemeanor charge as accused is simple assault, family violence. Mr. Wang is present via Zoom, represented by counsel, Mr. Tom Rousey, and we are going to address a negotiated plea. Mr. Wang, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and may I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Githia?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's offer is 11 months to serve 11 months, 11 months, 29 days to serve 2 days, credit for 1 day. No additional jail time, balance probated, a family violence intervention program, 1 parenting class, 40 hours of community service, and no further violent contact with Serena Wang.
All right, just to clarify, that was 11 months and 29 days or 11 months?
11 months, 29 days.
I thought it was 11 months. We may be splitting hairs here in terms of what we want to accomplish, but for immigration purposes.
11 months is fine. No objection to that.
And I just wanted to make sure we were given credit release time served on the 2 days.
The proposal I have is 11 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, FBIP, parenting class, 40 hours, community service, no violent contact with Serena Wang. Is that correct?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Rousey, based on what Ms. Githia said and what I just repeated, does your client accept these terms?
He does, Your Honor, and I'd just like to confirm it with him that he understands. Sam, you understand what everything we just talked about?
Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand.
All right. And Mr. Rousey, does your client stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Wang, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes.
And has anyone forced you, induced you to take this plea offer today?
No.
In accepting this plea offer, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not be able to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the state's evidence, be able to present any defenses if you choose to do so, be able to examine witnesses presented against or for you, as well as have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
And you've had many discussions with your attorney halfway across the planet, so I understand. Have you understood also that entering such a plea could have an impact upon your residency, upon any open cases against you, upon any professional licenses you have?
Yes, I understand.
And are you still willing to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
How do you plead? To 1 count of simple assault, domestic violence?
Yes.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor. Under a NOLO.
So do you plead no contest, Mr. Wang?
No contest.
No,
Yes.
no contest. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll
That was
accept
not
your-
what the state did not agree to a NOLO, when me and Mr. Rousey spoke about this.
Well, this is a good time to bring it up.
Oh,
This,
I'm sorry. I thought we did. I'm sorry. Let me check here.
I've got NOLA contendere circled.
Yeah,
So-
well, and my apologies. I assumed that we had done that, but I don't know if the state does object to that or not. I'm
Well,
looking
they
for my
do.
community. I guess they do. I'm just checking.
the state withdraws Your Honor, the state withdraws the objection.
All right, the state's accepting a NOLA contendere. So Mr. Rousey, if you appear befuddled, I guess it works out in your favor. All right, that's
Yes,
good.
well, that was my understanding. Thank you, Judge, and thank
All
you, Ms.
right.
Gatier.
All right, Mr. Wang, I'm going to accept your NOLA contendere or no contest plea to this charge. Your sentence is 11 months and 11 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, which means you don't have any jail time. The rest of the 11 months will be served on probation. Are you back stateside or are you still on the other side of the planet? Are you back in the United States?
I'm in the United States right now.
Okay, so you will be able to report to probation next Thursday? Okay.
Yes.
So while you're on probation, you will complete a 24-week program called Domestic Violence Intervention. You will attend those classes weekly, and upon completion, you will submit the certificate to your probation officer. You will also complete one parenting class, 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, and at all times, you are to have no violent contact with Serena Wang. In other words, there cannot be any physical or verbal altercations that may result in law enforcement being involved. Your report date is next Thursday, which is April 14th. No, excuse me, April 13th. Am I correct? Yes, April 13th. To report at the probation office located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta, and you have to report there before 3 p.m. Did you have that written down? 132 Mitchell Street.
134.
132.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I can find out details with Tom. Yeah.
Definitely. And but you have to report there before 3 p.m. And
Yeah.
once you have completed your probation, Ms. Githia, any objection to non-reporting?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Wang, once you've completed the conditions of your sentence, your probation will be then non-reporting. Mr. Rousey, you want to explain that to him later on?
I'll explain the non-reporting, Judge, but I do want to make sure I get the correct information for reporting to probation. Are we going to get a written notice of that, or is just verbal?
This is your notice that he needs to appear next Thursday. I don't have probation on Zoom.
Okay. Do we have a
but
time to report?
Before 3 p.m. They open
Okay.
at 8:30, I think. And
Okay.
Miss Valencia is going to email you the probation information sheet. So
Perfect.
it's got the address at the top,
Perfect.
but you might want to pencil in the date to report.
Before 3:30 next Thursday.
Correct.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate your court's patience.
No
Good
problem.
to see you.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Good luck. Good luck, Mr. Wang. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you all. Can I leave
Judge.
now?
You may leave now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Judge. Bye.
Judge, position 16 in status is on Zoom.
Thank you. Mr. Toby, ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you and your client would like to take the podium there, please. Okay. Miss Gianna Hardy. Position 16 on the status calendar. All right. Hello, Miss Gianna Hardy. You need to unmute.
Yes.
Ms. Hardy, my name is Judge Lal, and thank you for joining us at this late hour. You are charged with battery, substantial physical harm, 2 counts of cruelty and criminal trespass and damage to property from January 2020. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. And if you cannot afford one, you can apply for the services of the Public Defender's Office. Do you have an attorney?
No.
And would you like to apply?
Yes.
All right. Miss Helen? Miss Hardy, what's your phone number?
470-890-7739.
470-890-7739. You will receive a call from either a Miss Catrice Helen or Lawrence Korn. Who would like to call? Miss Helen?
Judge, I'm actually on the phone right now, about to call Mr. Davis, and I've just recently spoken to Mr. Colville. So if she could just put her phone number out there, someone will give her a call back.
Okay. Mr. Korn, are you available? Are you on mute?
I am, but I really need to get this plea paperwork filled out for Mr. Dinkins.
Okay, I'm going to put her phone number in the chat. One of you, if you're available, you can call her.
Understood, Judge.
Miss
Who can
Valencia,
call?
did you put the phone number to Miss, did you write it down by any chance?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm put the video on Mr. Bobo. I'm just confused. I don't know if he's supposed to be here or not, or which courtroom I'm supposed to be in.
I don't know who's talking, but
It's an Angela, and I think she's trying to speak for Mr. Bobo.
all right,
And that,
y'all need to wait, okay? Thank you.
understood, Judge.
Okay. This is position 3 on the Orca final plea calendar, State versus Dale Eugene Davis. Mr. Davis is present in the courtroom with his counsel, Travis Toe. This is 19 CR 009-296G. Mr. Davis was charged with 6 misdemeanor traffic-related offenses, including driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, reckless driving, as well as per se DUI. This is from November 3rd, 2019 in Fulton County, Georgia. Mr. Davis, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and your counsel is present with you. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing in which some of the charges apparently are either going to merge or be closed out by the state. So I am going to let the prosecutor let me know which charges you are proceeding with. But for the purposes of this plea, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Kipiea?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's offer is for reckless driving, 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, balance probated, a $500 fine, 40 hours of community service, risk reduction program, alcohol drug evaluation and treatment, and 1 victim impact panel. For failure to yield right of way to emergency vehicle, 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, balance probated, $300 fine, 20 hours of community service, risk reduction program, 1 victim impact panel to run consecutive to the reckless driving. Following too closely, 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, balance probated, $200 fine, 20 hours of community service to run concurrent to the failure to yield charges.
Okay.
And the speeding is 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, balance probated, $200 fine, 20 hours community service to run concurrent with failure to yield. The DUI less safe and DUI per se are both being no prost. So that's a total of 24 months probation.
Mr. Rowe, are these the terms to which your client has agreed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you stipulate to the factual basis, venue and ID for the 4 remaining charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that if you enter this plea and if I do accept it, that you would have to be on probation for a total of 24 months?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did I ask you if you're satisfied with your attorney or, you're free to tell me otherwise?
I am.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Davis, is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No, ma'am.
So they're going to basically close out the DUI charges and you'll be pleading guilty to the 4 remaining things, be on probation for 24 months. By doing so, you have to give up your right to a trial. You will not go back to court and have a trial in front of a judge or jury to be able to challenge the evidence that the state may present against you, to examine witnesses, confront your accuser, and have the state try to prove all 6 charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And has your attorney explained to you by entering such a plea, it could have an impact on any other open cases you may have on your job, on your residency, if applicable?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you still doing so freely, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand there's no right of appeal on this decision?
Yes.
How do you plead to reckless driving, failure to yield right of way to an emergency vehicle, following too closely and speeding.
Guilty.
All right. So for the first year, the reckless driving is 12 months to serve, 3 days credit for time served, 3 days. You'll be on probation. You'll report to probation next Thursday, April 13th, before 3 p.m. All right?
Sure.
While on probation for the reckless driving, you pay a $500 fine and do 40 hours community service, a risk reduction program, an alcohol and drug evaluation, and you must submit yourself to any treatment if required by the evaluator, and attend and complete one victim impact panel. The remaining 3 charges would be part of the consecutive charge, which is for the failure to yield right of way, it's 12 months to serve, credit for time served, 3 days. There'll be an additional $300 fine, an additional 20 hours community service, risk reduction. Well, risk reduction, can we make that a concurrent condition?
Yes, Your Honor.
So for risk reduction, that would be concurrent, and the victim impact panel, that would be concurrent.
Thank you.
Okay, so it'll just be an additional $300 fine and 20 hours community service. And the $300, excuse me, for the following too closely, that would be an additional $200 fine. And for the speeding, it will be a $200 concurrent fine. So in other words, your total fine is 500 plus 300 plus 200. I've got a total of $1,000 fine plus court costs. Would that be the math that you have, Mr. Toth?
Well, I actually had a little bit higher, but.
I was going to say the same thing.
We'll do the second one, $200 fine concurrent.
Okay.
And so it is a total of $1,000 fine.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page on the math.
We're on the page on that for sure.
Okay, but you have to pay your probation fees and you have to pay all these fees for the programs, okay? And you'll be on probation for the 2 years.
Your Honor, could we clarify the total number of hours of community service as well? Because
The total hours community service is 40 hours for the reckless driving and 20 hours for the 3 remaining charges. So that's 70 hours.
40 and 30 or the 40 and
40
20?
hours for the DUI
Those-
and 20 hours for
60
the remaining 3 charges because they're concurrent.
Yes, 60 hours, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
total is 60 hours.
Your Honor, I would like to ask that since this happened, which was quite a long time ago, Mr. Davis has not been in trouble since then. If he does not violate any of the terms of probation, I request that he be able to go non-reporting at least on the second year.
On the second year, any objection to non-reporting?
No objection to that.
All right. So, Mr. Davis, if you complete all the conditions, the fines and so forth, the risk reduction program, the victim impact panel, you have to report for the first 12 months. Then the second 12 months, if your probation officer is satisfied with all the other conditions being completed, then you'll be non-reporting.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Hill?
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, we be excused.
Yes, we will give you the probation information. The location is 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. And you have your report date is April 13th before 3 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Coburn is here. Okay, Ms. Black? Oh, they're talking? No, if they're talking, that's fine. Okay. All right, Mr. Lively, did you receive your plea paperwork?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. If you'd like to come up to this podium, sir. Do we have a waiver of counsel form for Mr. Lively?
I'm putting in the file. Thank you.
There's one more form you have to fill out. I want you to read the waiver of rights on the top half,
Okay,
all right?
yes, sir.
You don't have to read the middle portion, but just, well, if you want to read it, you'll see the details, but we're going to give it to you in a moment. We do have forms sitting somewhere. Okay. Ms. Githia, you spoke to attorney Clarence Johnson. Are we proceeding with that case? Position-
I have not spoken with Mr. Johnson yet, Your Honor. I just haven't had the opportunity.
Is that your attorney, Ms. Busby? All right, is he stepping outside?
Yes, ma'am, I believe he's waiting on her to call him back.
Oh,
I just haven't
okay.
had the opportunity, Your Honor.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's not you. It's not you. As you can see, we're trying to address the police. Okay. Okay. All right. And Mr. Bethea has joined us. Excellent. Mr. Bethea?
I'm sorry, yes, Your Honor.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. And you do not qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office. Did you come with an attorney today?
Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time between yesterday and today to go ahead and leave a deposit for an attorney.
All right. Ms. Githea, this is position 2 and 3 on the status calendar.
All right.
I can't recall. I know it was just less than 24 hours ago, but can't recall that the state had given you a plea recommendation.
When we spoke in the breakout room, he and I did discuss the offer, but I did not place it on the record.
Okay. In case number 909F, what are the charges brought against him?
Simple battery, family violence.
Okay. I don't know why the calendar is completely blank on that one. The state had filed a motion to revoke a bond. Is state withdrawing that now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I did his first appearance back in January of 2018.
It's my first time seeing you in life.
I'm sorry?
I said, this is my first time seeing you in life, if you ask me.
First time seeing me where?
In his life.
No, I was saying, this is my first time ever seeing you. That I can recall. I don't remember you.
I'm forgettable. What to do? Okay. Mr. So Miss KPA, what's the plea offer for the simple batteries?
It is 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time served 10 days, balance probated, family violence intervention program, and no further violent contact with the victim, LaShonda Culpepper, 20 hours of community service.
And for position number 2, theft by deception, June 11, 2020 incident date.
12 months to serve 21 days, credit for time served 21 days, balance suspended.
All right, Mr. Bethea, do you understand the plea offer made by the state?
Yes and no, Your Honor.
No,
Yeah,
that
the
doesn't
reason,
tell me anything. Which one did
Well-
you not understand?
well, the second one, because I pled out to it 3 years ago and I
Let me
took
see.
probation. Yeah.
Let me see. So
The
position
theft
number
by-
3, Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at. So let me see. I'm looking at the calendar event for theft by deception. You were accused in October of 2020. You were released on bond in October 22nd, 2020. A warrant was issued for your arrest on October 27, 2020. And it looks like you spent some time in Cobb County Jail.
Yes, being that you just said the dates that you said, yesterday when me and the ADA talked, we didn't mention dates. So I just basically asked her, was it a certain case? And she said, yeah, but 2020 theft by deception, I can't recall. I don't remember pleading out to a 2020 case. The case that I was talking about was from 2017, 2018 or something like that, I believe. It has something to do with furniture, a late bill for furniture. And they charged me with theft by deception because the furniture bill didn't get finished paid or something.
No, this is not what I was speaking about, Your Honor. That's not what the case is about.
Oh, what is the case?
Did not return a TV that was, no, did return a TV that was not purchased from Target for cash.
Oh, nah, I'm definitely not pleading out for that. Yeah.
So that is the charge. So basically, the state is saying that if you decide to plead guilty today to the theft by deception, the TV at Target, basically they would close out the case. They'll give you credit for the jail time. On position number 2, you'll be placed on probation to do a domestic violence intervention program while on probation and have no contact with LaShonda Culpepper. That's the plea recommendation. What would you like to do?
Take it to trial.
Okay. For both cases?
Yeah, because I'm innocent and I spent money on bond that I shouldn't have to spend. So it's like, that was a punishment itself.
That's a matter of opinion. All right, so Mr. Aaron Bethea for both cases, 18 CR 001909F and 20 CR 005104F. In the 1909F, you are charged with simple battery domestic violence from January 2018. This case has never been arraigned to date. So would you like me to read the accusation or do you waive a reading of the accusation?
You can waive the reading.
Okay. Would you like me to waive a reading of the theft by deception?
Yes.
So with regards to both cases, you're charged with a criminal misdemeanor offense. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea to both cases, the case will be scheduled for trial. Case management orders will be issued for both cases. And at the time of the trial, you are legally presumed innocent of these charges. And the state, the prosecution, has the complete burden to prove the 2 charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
If the state does carry its burden of proof, you could be looking at a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. Given this information, how do you plead to the simple battery domestic violence charge?
Not guilty.
And how do you plead to the theft by deception charge?
Not guilty.
All right. Both cases are going to be rescheduled for a jury trial, case management orders to issue, and you have to appear in person. No more Zoom appearances for these 2 cases. You have to appear in person, and you can choose to retain counsel to represent you. No more continuances will be granted in this case, or you can choose to represent yourself. Any questions, sir?
No.
Okay.
Your Honor, I did misspeak on Mr. Bethea's motion to revoke bond. The state is not, that's what we want to keep that in place. I did misspeak when I did say that. And the recommendation also should be no contact with Ms. Culpepper. I do apologize for that. The state is not revoking the bond.
The state is not revoking the bond?
Correct. I do apologize for that, Your Honor.
So if the state is not revoking the bond, that means you're withdrawing your motion to revoke bond. So I just want to clarify what you just said. You said the state is not revoking the bond, or your state is not withdrawing its motion to revoke bond. Which one is it?
Let me just double check this.
Okay.
And not to interrupt you, Your Honor, I had 2 announcements whenever the court is ready. Thank you so much.
In which case? Miss Helen, which case?
Judge, it is going to be for Mr. Davis, position, that's going to be position number 9, as well as position 6 from the status conference calendar.
Okay,
6 and
Position 9, Travis Davis.
Yes, Judge, he does not qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office, but he would like to directly speak to the solicitor over that case, and I didn't actually get that solicitor's name.
Miss Sarita Githia.
Okay, Ms. Githia.
Okay, yes, this, the motion to revoke bond was filed December 6, 2021. The state is not withdrawing its motion to revoke bond.
Understood.
Okay.
Just wanted to be sure.
Yes.
So basically they withdrawing the bond because I was incarcerated. Is that because?
We can send you a copy of the motion and you can read it and then we can address it. What's your email?
It's Mr. Bethea, BETHEA 99@gmail.com.
BETHEA99@gmail.com.
That's correct.
I think he said Mr. Judge, Mr. Bethea.
Is MR Bethea?
Yes, ma'am.
MR Bethea99@gmail.com. Okay. Please hold. You will get a copy of the bond, and then we will move forward with the hearing. So you're not released. There is a motion to revoke your bond, which means that you could risk the chance of having to report back to the jail. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And Miss Helen, you said you had a second case to announce?
I do, Judge. Position 6 from the status conference calendar, Mr. Eric Coville. He does qualify, Judge, and I would like to announce pretrial, which with ever ASG is assigned to that case, Judge.
All right.
I'm on the calendar for today, Miss Helen. Which
Oh,
case?
oh, I got you.
Which case was that again?
Position 6 and just a pretrial or what the offer is for that case as well.
Okay, I can place it on the record. It is 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, balance probated, restitution in the amount of $500 to Daphne Johnson in a theft prevention class.
Thank you so much. I'm going to relay that to Mr. Coville. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to take a pause from the calendar status and take this plea. Do I have Mr. Lively's waiver of counsel? Thank you. All right, this is State versus Stefan. Is it Stefan Lively?
Stephen, ma'am.
Okay, Stephen Lively. Case number 22 CR 002-721G. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing for the 1 count of fishing or hunting without a license. Mr. Lively is present in the court and appearing pro se. Mr. Lively, you have read through the document which indicates the waiver of right of counsel and the consequences of proceeding without counsel. Are you satisfied that you're able to represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand that any legal decision you make, you'll be responsible on how it impacts your situation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You've been advised of your right to remain silent. And for purposes of the plea hearing, may I place you under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Githia, who is the prosecutor in this case, what is the recommended sentence for Mr. Lively?
Yes, Your Honor. It is a payment of $100 plus all applicable surcharges and costs.
Mr. Lively, would you be able to pay that today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Lively, have you consumed any, no, do you agree that the factual basis for this charge, the location of this incident, Fulton County, and the identity of the perpetrator, that is you, are all true and correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
Have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've read through the documents with regards to waiver of rights,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you've circled all. And you do understand that you'll be giving up these constitutional rights as you've read them if you decide to take this plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you doing so freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to the one count of fishing or hunting without a license?
Guilty, Your Honor.
$100 plus all applicable surcharges and costs to be paid on 4/7/2023. All right, if you have a seat, we'll give you directions on where to go to pay this. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
I apologize, Judge. I was trying to make an announcement, but I was muted. I will relay that message to Mr. Eric Coville, but Mr. Dewberry just sent a message asking whether or not he should leave. Was that person supposed to be qualified or was he pro se?
I'm a woman, but it's me. Right. No, she spoke with me, but I just didn't know what I need to do afterwards. I didn't want to leave and get in trouble.
And they're smart move. Thank you.
Right. So I've been on here the whole time. I didn't know what I need to do furthermore.
Yes, Ms. Dewberry, the offer that was made by, you're representing yourself as far
Yes,
as I
ma'am.
know. And the off, you need to turn your video on.
Oh, sorry. How do I? Okay, here we go.
And you were to consider the state's offer of 12 months to serve 2 days and balance suspended. In other words, the time served plea. If you decide to accept this offer, this would be a simple battery guilty conviction on your record, but the case will be closed out today. What would you like to do?
I'll accept it.
All right. What is your email?
JJDEWBERRY@yahoo.com.
That was jjdewberry@yahoo.com.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you close to a computer where you can print the documents?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This, Ms. Githia, when you get a moment, you need to send the plea documents to Ms. Dewberry. Ms. Dewberry, you need to print them, review them, check mark all the appropriate boxes and put your signatures on all the forms. And
Okay.
we will send you separately a form for waiver or counsel that you would also need to review and sign off. I cannot address your plea until I get all the completed documents back.
Okay.
All right?
And it'll be in my email.
It will be sent within the next few minutes, but it will be as fast as Ms. Githia can address it because
Okay.
she's the only prosecutor right now.
Okay. And is it okay to leave this Zoom or no?
I
Stay
would
on
not
here and then
recommend
send-
it. Yeah,
You said stay on. I'm sorry.
yeah, stay on, but go to your computer and handle all your paperwork.
Okay, I'm doing it right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Ms. Black, yes, you are here for Ms. Coben. All right, on the final plea calendar, position number 2, Jordan Coben.
Yes, Judge, could you just write up so.
You may have to go to that mic because those are the ones that folks at the Zoom can hear as well.
Thank you, Judge. We are here on final plea, Judge. We were in court in February, and the state agreed we were trying to get a psychological exam. That has been completed, but I don't yet have the report from Dr. Powell. So I'm asking for us to be reset to one final plea calendar so I can share that report with the state.
Ms. Githia, there's a request for a continuance subject to the evaluation report being produced.
Okay, no objection.
When was the evaluation done?
Almost I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just don't have it from Dr. Powell yet. I think he may be out of the office this week, so I'm hopeful I'll have it any day, but it has been completed, Judge.
Okay. So the evaluation is completed?
Yes.
Okay, and is that one of the requirements for a potential plea or?
Yes, I believe so.
This case is going to be reset to the final plea calendar for May 5th at 9 a.m.
Perfect.
Please be sure that the report's produced and sent to, and Ms. Githia, should she send it to you directly, or because I'm not sure who will be the ASG at that time?
She can send it to me directly and I'll make
All
sure
right.
it's taken care of.
Perfect. And I do, we spoke yesterday via email, so I will send it to the state as soon as I get it.
Okay, all right, and do you also have the plea paperwork?
I don't believe I do, Judge.
Your Honor, until we see that report and everything, we don't have an offer at this moment.
Yeah, it was sort of critical to resolving this, so,
Okay,
but I will be in touch with the state.
and if during the course of your discussions, you all reach a plea agreement, please be sure to get the plea paperwork before May 5th completed.
Absolutely, so it's easy to handle.
Well, unless you like to sit and enjoy a cup of latte while you're waiting, that's.
I'll pass respectfully, Judge.
Understood. Get that a lot.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
All right, yes, thank you.
Dominic,
Yes, sir.
Dominic Bear, number one on the status conference. She does qualify and she wishes to accept the state's offer.
Which position was that? I'm sorry.
Yes, it is position 1 on the status conference calendar. The young lady is Dominic Barron. And the plea offer was 12 months to serve 4 days, balance suspended.
Correct. I will get that momentarily.
All right, so position number 1 is going to be a plea. All right, and have we sent Mr. Bethea a copy of the motion to revoke? Okay. Mr. Kwan, do you have any announcements to make?
Yes, Your Honor. I interviewed Gianna Hardy and she does qualify for our services, so I'm going to be representing her. I would ask that this case be placed on a subsequent status calendar so that I can complete the discovery process and pass along any offers to her.
All right. Any objection to her appearing in person?
I haven't really spoken with her about that. She can, I can.
Okay. Position number 16 is reset to May 5th. That's going to be put on the final plea calendar at 9 a.m. And Ms. Hardy, you need to unmute and lower your phone so we can see you. I can only see your camera. There we go. You would need to appear in person in courtroom G33, not Zoom.
And I will be there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And you can go.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hardy. Adrian, did you have any questions about your next appearance?
No.
All right. Thank you. You're free to go. Thank you.
Judge, I had one other announcement, Miss Adrian Coley.
Okay. And
She's
that
on
was
the
for the
Zoom.
C. Yeah. Position 5 on the status calendar.
Ms. Coley, could you open your video, please?
I can't open my video, it's on disabled.
Oh, okay. In any case, she is not prepared to accept any plea offer at this time. So we ask the case be placed on the trial calendar.
Okay. This case is going to be reset for a jury trial calendar. A case management order will issue today. The jury trial will be in person, so there are no more Zoom proceedings for this case. And Ms. Coley, please be sure to come to court in person when you are summoned for your jury trial. You'll be represented by Mr. Korn. Anything else, Mr. Korn?
Not as far as, no other announcements, Your Honor, at this
All right.
time.
Do you represent anyone else?
I do. I'm Mr. Dinkins was on the Zoom, but he has disappeared. And I'm trying to get a hold of him. It's good. It should be a plea today.
Repeat, Mr. Korn. I'm sorry, I can't make out what you're saying.
Mr.
Mr. who?
Mr. Sammy Dinkins was online, was on the Zoom. However, he, for whatever reason has dropped off. I don't know. I'm trying to get a hold of him. It was going to be a negotiated plea today.
All right, so it would behoove him to come back. So if you can reach out to him, that would help.
That would, I would very much like to get that, resolved today. One other case I have on the calendar, and I'm still gonna try to get a hold of Mr. Dinkins, but the other case I have in the calendar is Sean Headley.
Hidley, yeah.
Headley. Mr. Headley, how's that pronounced? Is it Headley or Headley?
It's Headley. It's Sean
It's
Headley.
Headley. I should, all right. Gotcha.
okay.
I'll get that from now on. I'll get that right from now on.
Yeah, we need to correct his name on the screen to Sean Headley.
Okay, and what I'd ask the court to do is put this on for final plea on that same May 5th court date. A plea offer's been made. I'm hoping to negotiate with Ms. Guthier, but I expect this will be a plea.
Reset to May 5th.
And that will be in person.
That's right, 9 a.m. in person. Mr. Headley, you need to appear in court in person, no more Zoom proceedings. And of course, if you prevail on the plea offer, Mr. Korn, please get the paperwork all filled out before the court appearance.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
I'm sure we'll definitely come to agreement, a plea agreement.
Well, it sounds optimistic, but you still need to be in court in person.
All right, I will, Your Honor. Am I done for the day?
You are free to go. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Headley.
All right, you have a great one.
We'll talk later.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, Ms. Coley, you got a court date. You got a trial coming up, so you're free to go.
Thank you.
Is Travis Davis, have you spoken to the public defense attorney? Were you waiting to speak to them?
I already
Yes.
spoke to Mr. Davis. He did not qualify. I believe Mr. Davis is speaking or waiting to speak to Miss Githia.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
All right. To speak with ASG.
And Miss Githia, I did message you concerning position 6, Mr. Colville. Just let me know when you've gotten to it.
Okay, give me 1 second.
All right. Is anyone else waiting to speak to a public defense attorney? Anyone in the courtroom waiting to speak to a public defense attorney? All right. No, Miss Barrow? Miss Barrow is waiting on a plea paperwork. You can put your arms down, man. All right, thank you. And Miss Brittany? No, Miss Tiffany. Your attorney Johnson is waiting to speak to Miss Githia. Miss Githia, we're going to be in recess. You can stop making your phone calls.
Okay, Miss Dewberry, I'm about to send her paperwork now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Dinkins, this is Larry Korn.
Oh, wait. Mr. Korn, please
Dinkins,
make sure,
this is Larry
Mr. Korn,
from the
Mr. Korn, Mr. Glenn. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Miss Helen?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have a defendant, Rodney Langford. He's on position 5 of the,
Yes, Judge, I thought Mr. Rodney Langford is being represented by the Conflict Counsel Office. I believe that's who that attorney is. I do believe he needs a conflict attorney.
can you verify that, please? I just want to make sure. I'm
Sure,
trying to
Judge,
figure out.
I'm gonna look it up on Odyssey right now.
All right, thank you.
And who is representing Dominique Barron?
Mr. Ruffle, Michael Ruffle,
Okay.
PD.
I'm about to send his plea paperwork momentarily.
Okay.
Position 12 is on Zoom, Judge.
All right, thank you.
The paperwork for Miss Barron has been sent to Mr. Raffoff.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Raffoff, as soon as we print it, you'll be able to review it with your client.
You can.
Okay, position number 12, I have a Mr. Duckett. Could you unmute, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Can you hear me now?
All right, Mr. Duckett, thank you for joining us. You're just about an hour and a half late.
Well, Your Honor, just so you know, I was on the original meeting since 8:45. I just called the state court and she said that they changed the meeting ID. So she just gave me the new meeting ID, but I've been on the call since 8:45, Your Honor.
Okay, and who's your attorney?
I don't have an attorney, Your Honor.
And so you have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, could be appointed if you apply for the public defender's office. Is that what you want to do, or do you want to represent yourself?
Yes, I would like to apply for a public defender.
All right.
Mr. Duckett, could you put your phone number in the chat and I will give you a call and we'll see about, we'll fill out an application for you, all right?
Thanks so much.
All right.
And by chat, you mean?
The chat function in the Zoom.
Yes, I see it. Thank you so much.
All right.
And Judge, if Mr. Langford could just read his phone number out, I'm gonna give him a call right now.
Just 1 second, please.
Understood, Judge.
All right, Mr. Korn, you are speaking to Mr. Duckett, okay? And then we need to send you some information. Mr. Langford, what is your phone number, please? Do you have a phone?
I got it.
You got it? Okay, and then we're gonna send it to the attorney and she's gonna call you on your phone. All right. You're talking. Yes, sir.
It seems like I've been trying to chat with
Ms. Githia?
Madam Assistant Solicitor General. Is it possible to just either put this on another plea calendar or put it on a trial calendar? I think it's going to be something complete. We just need to talk further.
Ms. Cathalia, do you have a moment to talk to Mr. Johnson now?
Yes, can I just get his number and I can give him a call?
What's your number?
404. Well, actually, she has it in chat.
Yeah, I put it.
You have it in the chat?
I put it in the chat to her.
Okay. Let me go through the chat and look.
I'll send it again. So that it's,
Megan's gonna send it to you.
Okay.
so that it's more recent, so she don't have to go off very back.
I'm gonna call him right now.
Thank you.
Mr. Korn, are you calling Mr. Duckett? Mr. Lawrence Korn?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. I just was getting the application.
I just want to put you on notice that Mr. Duckett has got a pretrial bench warrant
Oh,
signed on February 23rd, 2023 with a $2,000 surety bond. So
is
just
that
wanted-
is that from this court?
that's correct,
From pretrial?
correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Mr. Corn, will you explain to me what that is?
yeah, he's gonna call you and you're gonna talk, okay?
All right, thanks so much, Your Honor.
I have a gentleman there with a backpack. Are you on this calendar?
No, ma'am, he's waiting for.
Oh, Miss Barron? Okay, and which I can address in a few moments as soon as Miss Cathalia is available. We're at the mercy of one prosecutor being available. There we go. He's-
gonna go ahead and put this on a trial calendar, although we can't have to keep talking. We think it will still result at some point.
Okay. Ms. Githea is probably on another call. I'll let her know. So we're going to reset this on a jury trial calendar. I do not have a date at the present time.
Okay,
Unless you want me to put it on a final plea calendar, and if you talk and there's a resolution, at least you have a date certain.
sure, that's fine.
Okay? This will be a final reset to the plea calendar, May 5th at 9 a.m.
Make it 9. Okay,
Final plea calendar.
all right, that's fine, Judge.
You get it resolved?
I think we can get a result.
Okay.
All right,
I hate to do resets, so
thank you.
that's the reason why it's in the final plea calendar, so that you don't have to see me again. So,
All right.
all right.
All right.
All right, Mr. Johnson, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
You and your client are free to go. Thank you. And I'll let Ms. Githea know.
Sure.
I didn't put myself back on camera. I am back. You was talking to Mr. Johnson. I did hear that it was reset to May 5th for the final plea.
Yes, correct. Thank you. Ms. Githea, are you waiting to talk to anybody else right now?
I think I need to speak with, there's somebody who's pro se.
Travis Davis.
Yes, and as far as position 6, was Miss Helen gonna do that plea paperwork, or did she need me to do it?
With who?
For position number 6, I didn't
Yeah.
know if Miss Helen was gonna do that plea paperwork, or if she needed me to do it.
I think you would need to do it, and also for Miss Dewberry.
I sent Miss Dewberry her documents and to Miss
Okay.
Younger as well.
Okay, if you can give me a few moments right now, I'd like to do the plea for position number 1, Dominic Barron.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Barron and Mr. Roffoff, if you'd like to take the podium. This is State versus Dominic Barron, case number 19 CR 002012F. Ms. Barron was accused of battery, and she's been advised of her right to remain silent, and she's represented by counsel, Mr. Michael Roffoff. With regards to this case, we are going to address a negotiated plea. Ms. Barron, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Githea, what's the plea offer?
For battery, it is 12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served 4 days, balance suspended.
Mr. Roffoff, are these the terms to which your client has agreed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Barron, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the representation you've received?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anybody forced you or induced you to take this plea today?
No, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to go back to court and have a trial. There won't be an opportunity to confront your accuser, to be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, examine witnesses, and have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of battery?
Guilty.
Your sentence is time served. You're free to go.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Githea, we're going to put you in a breakout room with Travis Davis. Mr. Glanville?
Okay, and I'm about to send Ms. Helen the plea paperwork for position number 6.
Okay.
I'm done, Your Honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Roffoff. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Well. All right, Mr. Corn?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything to report on position 12, Mr. Duckett?
Mr. Duckett does qualify for our services, and I would like to hear a plea offer from Ms. Githier if she would like.
Okay, she's in a breakout at the present time. If you please hold.
We will.
Word yet from Sammy Dinkins?
Judge, I haven't heard back from either email or number. I'm not sure what happened with him. He is going to be a plea. He's wants to accept it. If we could put him on for final plea, have him there in person, and that way we will be sure to get him on the job. And I know I mixed too many metaphors there.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for him to show up. Since he was not released. Okay, as soon as our prosecutor comes out of the breakout, Mr. Corn, you're gonna go ahead and speak to her?
Yes.
You want to be placed in a breakout with her then?
That'd be fine. I just would like her to put, and mostly I just want her to put the
Plea off on the record.
plea offer on the record.
Okay.
And maybe one we can resolve today, because that would probably negate the pretrial.
Bench warrant too. Okay,
Yeah,
all right, we'll hold then. Thank you.
thank you.
Norris,
Mr. Glanville, could you send a message to the breakout room that we're waiting on Ms. Githia to address other outstanding cases? Please, thank you.
Is being recorded.
All right, Mr. Travis Davis,
Yes, ma'am.
did you record the proceeding?
Yes, ma'am. I was there. I was just having a breakout with Mrs.
Ms.
Miss
Githia.
Sarita Guthier.
Okay, good. Are you recording this Zoom proceeding?
I think, Your Honor, I think the message just comes up
Okay.
saying it's being recorded. I don't think he's
Thank you.
specifically recording.
Yeah, it's saying that that's what it said when I just came back over.
Just want to be sure. Thank you. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
Ms. Githia, what's the announcement for Mr. Travis Davis? Are you on mute, Ms. Githia?
He has accepted the plea offer and I am doing his plea paperwork as we speak.
All right, so we will take up that plea. Mr. Davis, you would need to make sure that you, once you receive the paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
and do we have your email? I can't remember.
Yes, ma'am. I just gave it to Miss Guthier. I can give it to you as well.
Yes, please, because we need to send you the paperwork for waiver of counsel.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I didn't qualify for it.
I
Is
know.
that the same thing?
Separate form. It says that you are waiving your right to counsel. In other
Oh, yes.
words, you're not hiring your own attorney.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. I can give you my email address when you're ready.
Ready?
It's davis.travis81@yahoo.com.
All right. We will send you a document for the waiver of counsel.
Yes,
Check your
ma'am.
spam if you don't receive it in the next few minutes, and
Yes, ma'am.
review the paperwork that Ms. Githia sends you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fill out, actually circle the answer and sign the appropriate areas, and then send it back to Ms. Githia. You can also CC our litigation manager, Ms. Valencia Younger, who will be sending you the email for the waiver of counsel.
Yes, ma'am. So
All
send
right.
both sets. Just send both sets of paperwork to each other.
To each of them, correct.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. We're going to put you on, please mute your screen until you've completed your documents. Thank you.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Githia, Mr. Korn wants to speak to you about Shioke Duckett, position number 12. And so, Mr. Glanville, could you place Mr. Korn in the breakout room with Ms. Githia? Ms. Githia, I think you can just return to the same breakout.
Okay.
You Did that work for you?
I set it up, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
And Judge, I do have an announcement for position 5 on the Orca final plea calendar, if you're available.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Langford.
Miss Githia is in a breakout with Mr.
Oh, I apologize. I
But you
apologize,
can-
Judge. Mr. Langford does qualify.
Okay.
Judge, I have his application. This is a DUI. I will be entering in my appearance so that we can request those videos because I'd like for this to be set to the next motions calendar. I'd like to particularize some motions for this case, but we
Okay.
are headed to a jury trial, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's wait for Ms. Githia and you can break the good news to her.
Understood, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Langford, please hold. I need to wait for the prosecutor to be available. Mr. Glanville, can you send a message to the breakout that we're ready to address the case?
Okay, have a good one.
Yeah. It's the magic. Okay, Mr. Corn, Ms. Githia, is she back?
She's preparing paperwork for a plea on Mr. Duckett. I have to have a moment with Mr. Duckett, but this is gonna be a plea. I have to
Okay.
fill out the paperwork.
All right,
She's there.
Oh, she's back.
we're going to address a plea in position number 12. So I'm waiting to address 4 plea hearings. One is for Eric Colville. One is for Travis Davis. Oh, is Ms. Githia back? Oh, yeah.
I am back, Your Honor. I'm just doing a plea paperwork for Mr. Duckett.
Okay, so I'm waiting on pleas for position 6, Eric Colville, position 9, Travis Davis, position 10, Dewberry, and position 12, Mr. Duckett. Mr. Corn, I'm still waiting for Mr. Dinkins to show up, so he's still got some time to appear because he was not excused from proceedings.
But he was here. I hate to think something bad befell him and he gets a warrant for it.
Well, good thing that we should contact him then. All right, Ms. Githia, let me know when the paperwork's all sent in, because the next thing we have to address also is position 2, but Mr. Bethea on your
Yes, sure.
state's motion to revoke.
Yes, Your Honor.
FYI, the alleged victim, LaShonda Culpepper, is also on Zoom.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
And I apologize, Judge, for interrupting you. Ms. Githia, I did send you a follow-up message. Just wanted to make sure you got it. Thank you.
I have not. I'll look at it in just a second.
Thank you.
Okay, the plea paperwork has been sent for Mr. Duckett.
Thank you.
Ms. Githia, has it been sent for the other 3, Colville, Dewberry, and Davis?
Dewberry has been sent. Davis has been sent. And what was the other one, Your Honor?
Eric Colville, position 6. Ms. Helen.
It has been sent as well.
Okay. That case, you are free at the present moment. We're going to address position number 2 on the status calendar. This is Aaron Bethea, case number 18 CR 001909F. In that particular case, Mr. Bethea is present.
Before we proceed with that, Your Honor, may I have a moment to speak with LaShonda Culpepper? We can go into a breakout room.
Okay. Ms. Culpepper, if you can start your video, please. Mr. Corn, please mute your screen. Mr. Duckett, please mute your screen. Ms. LaShonda Culpepper, you need to start your video? Oh, well. Okay. And may we see you, Ms. Culpepper? You may have your video reversed. We see a window with white curtains. Now we see the floor. Ms. Githea, I got a message from Ms. Jasmine Dewberry. She did not receive anything.
Do I have her email correct? jjdewberry@gmail.com?
At yahoo.com.
I do apologize. Let me resend it.
Okay. Ms. Culpepper, we can only see the floor. I think your video may have been on reverse. You want to check your video setting?
It has been resent to Ms. Dewberry to the Yahoo email address.
Thank you. All right, LaShonda Culpepper is not responding, so let's proceed. Position number 2, State versus Aaron Bethea, case number 18 CR 0019909F. Mr. Bethea was accused of simple battery domestic violence. In that particular case, Mr. Bethea is present via Zoom and proceeding self-represented. This particular case has been arraigned and he's going to be reset for a jury trial. Pending that, there was a motion to revoke his bond as filed by the Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County. The motion was filed on December 6, 2021, as a result of Mr. Bethea's failure to appear in court on November 3rd, 2021. All right, Mr. Bethea, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and you've chosen to represent yourself. So Ms. Githea, you're free to proceed. Oh, Ms. LaShonda Culpepper, you've unmuted your screen. We can't.
Yes, I'm trying to turn it around. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right.
And if I may speak with her before we proceed with this?
Now we may. All right, Mr. Glanville, if you could place LaShonda Culpepper and Ms. Githea in a breakout, please. The gentleman in the red shirt, is that Mr. Dinkins or Mr. Colville?
I'm sorry, I don't know how to work this. It's my first time on Zoom, but it's Colville.
Colville, okay. So we're waiting on your attorney, Ms. Helen. Thank you.
And Judge, I have the plea paperwork. I'm filling it out. I'm gonna scan it back to Ms. Githea.
All right. And you can CC Ms. Valencia Younger as well.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Githia, are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is to resume the hearing on the state's motion to revoke the bond regarding Aaron Bethea. You may continue. Ms. Githia.
Yes, Your Honor. As a result of the January 12th, 2018 incident, Mr. Aaron Bethea was given a bond. Those conditions of the bond was to have no contact directly or indirectly with Ms. LaShonda Culpepper and to stay at least 200 yards away from her. Since the date of that time, he has sent direct messages on social media on several occasions to Ms. Culpepper. And on November 17, 2021, he showed up at her job as well. And as such, he has violated the bond conditions. There is a mention also of the June 11, 2020 incident in which Ms. Culpepper was in the vehicle with Mr. Bethea as well. As a result of all these incidents, Mr. Bethea was in violation of his bond and it should be revoked. That concludes my statement, Your Honor.
All right, so this simple battery offense allegedly occurred on January 1st of 2020, correct?
It was 2018.
2018.
2018.
2018. January 31st, 2018. And the state is alleging that on January 1st, 2020, there was another DV incident. I'm looking at paragraph 1.
That's when the bond order was in place, January 31st, because of the January 12th, 2018 incident.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, there might have been some typo errors in here then, because the bond order was January 31st on 2018. Okay. So since 2018 of January, he was to have no contact with Ms. Culpepper?
Correct.
Okay. But on November 17, 2021, the state is alleging that he showed up at her workplace?
Correct.
And he's been sending her messages on social media prior to that?
Correct, Your Honor.
And have there been any other alleged violations of the bond order?
Yeah, just 1 second. There is. One moment, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
There is one other. I'm just trying to get it, Your Honor.
So initially, I'm here for the simple battery charge, to take a plea for the simple battery charge. And because I wouldn't take that, they want to revoke the bond. So it's like either take the plea or we revoke the bond. That's what it looks like.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to that.
Initially, I never.
What's the filing date?
Initially, I never did simple battery.
What's the
Initially,
filing
there was
date
no
on the
simple
motion
battery.
to revoke?
But I'm sorry, I have to switch back this.
So this is you basically pursuing me because you're upset. I
Mr.
didn't take your
Bethea,
plea.
Mr. Bethea?
Back to-
No, no, no. No, unmute Mr. Glanville. We can't mute him. Go ahead, unmute your screen.
The motion looked like it was filed December.
It was filed in November 2021. But we need to unmute Mr. Aaron Bethea. Mr. Bethea?
I told him to unmute. You just have to unmute it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was filed December 6, 2021.
Oh, excuse me, December 6, 2021. Okay. All right, Mr. Bethea, this is how it works. One side presents an argument and then the other side will get a turn. Unless you have a legal objection, you let the other side proceed uninterrupted. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Githia, so you want to identify another occasion of an alleged violation? Did you have anything else to add?
No, that's all, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bethea, now's your time to respond.
All right, so basically, initially, the initial report is that a simple battery took place at Monroe Drive, address of mine, where I did let Shonda and my children and her children included stay at my address. We had an argument. Police was not called by LaShonda. Police was not called by me. The police was called by one of the neighbors that heard me and LaShonda arguing. During the course of our argument, I let Shonda, I opened the door. Shonda already had her stuff packed. I opened the door. When we opened the door, a police officer was already outside the door listening to our argument. All right. So there alone, if I even struck her, I'm sure the officer would have knocked on the door, banged on my door. But the whole time, the officer was already present because he was already present during our argument, listening outside our door. Once I opened the door and saw the officer, she continued to walk past the officer and decided during our argument that she was going to state, yes, he put his hands on me too. Okay, the officer that was there at the door did not arrest me because he heard the argument. So there was no arrest of me on that day. It was 2 weeks later that an officer came by my house, knocked on the door with me and my current girlfriend because me and LaShonda wasn't together at that time. My girlfriend was there. She opened the door. It was an officer looking for me I don't know what it was. I did not come to the door. After that, they then went and put a bond on me. That same 2 days later, which was January 29th. So if you look, I got arrested 2 weeks later. So if I gave her a black eye the day on January 12th, they would have took pictures. I'm sure the DA doesn't have pictures of a black eye because there was never any black eye. But it says it
Mr.
on the
Bethea,
paperwork.
stop. I've got the sound level and I've not changed it. And
Okay,
if you
I'm
want to
sorry.
continue raising your voice,
Okay,
I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
put you on mute.
All right. Well, basically,
Continue.
what I'm saying is, it states the facts. If I was to strike a woman, I'm sure the officer that was outside the door would arrest me on the spot. I never got arrested on the spot. Okay, 2 weeks later, the paperwork on January 29th, randomly, they put a warrant out on me on January 29th. I was arrested later on that night on January 29th. So I don't know what the problem is in the paper. It was that showed I never struck her because they would have locked me up at the scene, but they said they came back to my address. When the officer left, after that, I was on the way out going to work. They say in the paperwork, I fled. I did not flee. The officers were there. They knocked on my door. I talked to the officers. I left with the officers and left. But it says I fled. It doesn't even make sense. 1 minute the officer speaks to me, 1 minute he comes back and I fled. Doesn't make any sense. LaShonda has 2 children with me, and you're telling me the bond conditions that they state when I was arrested had a bond conditions. Yes, I may sign it. Yes, I may have violated because yes, I did talk to my children. Yes, I do have 2 children, 2 twin daughters with LaShonda. It states in the paperwork I have 1 daughter, but no, we have 2 twin daughters. I have 2 twin daughters with her. And yes, 5 years later, you're telling me now I wasn't supposed to have been talking to her 5 years later? 5 years later, come on, let's make sense to this. I got 2 children. She needs my help. She can attest to that.
Where is the information that you fled?
It says I fled on the paperwork. I just read it in the bond revoke, and I heard her say it earlier. They said that I fled.
I'm so sorry, you're saying it fled. Where is that information?
In the police report, Your Honor, when the officer returned back to the apartment, he found that Mr. Aaron Bethea, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, had fled the area.
Right.
Oh, that was after his second visit. But the first time, it is correct. The officer did encounter Mr. Bethea in the initial encounter.
But on the, yeah.
Right.
Not to interrupt, go ahead.
I just want to be sure that we have the correct sequence of alleged events. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Bethea?
No, that's it, Your Honor. I'm just a father, simply going to continue to take care of my children. If she calls me and she needs my help, I can't wait for y'all to decide 5 more years to go ahead and settle a case that me and her know that's really false because I never hit her. Here we are 5 years later. Now we're going to make some probation and decide and wreck my life. I mean, come on. I already paid $700 in jail for something I didn't do. So now we want to revoke a bond for something I even didn't do. I didn't even do it. So we're going to revoke it, but first
Mute Mr. Bethea. He's beginning to raise his voice. Thank you. Ms. Bethea, do you have anything else to add?
Your Honor, just as I stated earlier, there was a bond in place as a result of this incident. And that bond order was he was to have no contact with Ms. Culpepper. And on several occasions, he contacted her via social media and also went directly to her job. That is in violation of that bond for this incident.
All right, thank you. Ms. Culpepper, my name is Judge Lal. I don't know if you want to chime in on this hearing. You have a right to do so, or you have a right not to do so. What would you like to do?
You asking me, did I want to do what, ma'am?
Did you want to say anything? You have a right to not say anything if you choose to do so, or if
I do want to say something. I do.
Certainly. Please raise your right hand.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. And do you have any comment about these contacts that Mr. Bethea allegedly had with you?
We do mutual talk, and I didn't know honestly that I had no contact order with him. I did not know that. So we have been speaking, and he did not put his hands on me like I told the applicant a few minutes ago. So that's not true. And he do help me with my kids right now. It's a hard time. And like he said, it's needed. And right now, I don't feel like him being arrested or whatever's going on right now that it need to be done. Because right now I do need his assistance. He is a good dad. It's just stuff happen. People, it's stuff happen. It's just
okay.
Stuff happen between, it's life.
All right.
Happen.
Mr. Bethea, I'm denying the motion to revoke the bond. The bond was filed back in November of 2021. If there was such an imminent threat to the alleged victim in this particular case, I'm sure the state would have pursued it zealously. But as sufficient time has lapsed and there's insufficient indication that even though you violated the terms of the bond order, that there was any indication of threat to the alleged victim, I'm denying the motion to revoke the bond. Please keep in mind that when there is a court order requiring you to have no further contact with the victim, which is Ms. Culpepper, that means you stay 200 yards away from her and you do not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. Of course, if you want to seek a visitation with the children that you share with Ms. Culpepper, you had a couple of alternatives. One would have been to file a legitimation action and to get a court order to establish visitation and custody. The other option is to have your attorney file a motion to amend the no further contact to either no further violent contact or no further contact with third-party visitation of the children. You fail to exercise either option. So you may stand there and stomp and scream to whatever ends you feel like you'd like to do. But at the end of the day, you were not allowed to have any contact with Ms. Culpepper. So presently, I will amend the bond order to no further violent contact so that you and Ms. Culpepper can continue to have contact with each other as long as there's no physical or verbal altercations involved. This case is scheduled for a jury trial, and hopefully Mr. Bethea will retain counsel, because it gives me great concern about the statements he made about the alleged events of the case, which may jeopardize his defenses at trial. All right, that concludes this hearing. We will see you for jury trial. Thank you. All right, I have Mr. Eric Colville.
Yes, Judge, that's my case.
Okay, and Mr. Colville is where now?
He's there on the Zoom call. He just doesn't have his video on. There he is, Judge.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. This is position number 6. This is case State versus Eric Colville, position number 6, case number 20 CR 004904E. Mr. Colville was originally accused of forgery in the 4th degree and theft by taking from July 17, 2019. Mr. Colville, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and you're represented by Public Defense Attorney, Ms. Catrice Helen. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing. He has been, Mr. Colville, please raise your right hand. Mr. Colville? All right. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Githia, what's the plea recommendation for Mr. Colville?
For both counts is 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, restitution in the amount of $500 to Daphne Johnson, and the balance will be suspended upon completion of the conditions.
All right. Ms. Helen, does your client accept these terms, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
He does, Judge, and we do so stipulate. We ask this court to accept the plea as negotiated. However, Judge, we would like to see if he could use his NOLO plea this morning. That's why I didn't circle between guilty or NOLO contenderary. We are asking that he be allowed to use his NOLO plea this morning.
All right. Any objection from the state?
If he is eligible for it, no objection.
All right. I don't see any prior, I don't have my pretrial officer here. So Ms. Githia, if you have this GCIC, I mean, I don't have a problem if the state has no objection in considering the age of the case.
Looks like he is eligible.
Okay, we will proceed on a NOLO contenderary on the case. Mr. Colville, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, I have not.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, I do.
Are you satisfied with the representation that you've received?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand that you will be on probation until the $500 fine is paid off?
Correct.
And payment would have to be made.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. I did see that there was a NOLO in 2019.
To what charge?
Acquiring license plate for purpose of concealing identification of motor vehicle.
That's a traffic related matter.
Okay.
We'll still proceed with this one.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
As we are saying, Mr. Colville, is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea offer today?
No, Your Honor.
If you decide to do so, you will have to give up your right to a trial, to confront your accuser, challenge the state's evidence in a courtroom during the course of a trial, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to theft by taking and forgery in the 4th degree?
I'd like to plead no low.
Your normal plea is accepted. On the both charges, they are concurrent sentences, which is 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days. The condition, you'll be placed on probation. You have to report to the probation office in person next Thursday, April 13th, 2023, before 3 p.m. And the probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. You will pay your restitution of $500 directly to the probation officer, who will then remit it to the alleged victim, Daphne Johnson. Your probation will terminate upon full payment of the restitution plus any outstanding probation fees. Understood?
Yes.
All right. Don't forget
Thank you.
to report to probation next Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Judge. And Mr. Eric, I actually messaged you the probation office number in the chat, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
All right. Next position is position 12, Mr. Duckett.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Korn. This is case 19 CR 005-947F. State versus Chioke Duckett, accused of theft by taking from March 9, 2019. Mr. Duckett is appearing via Zoom and represented by Public Defense Attorney, Mr. Lawrence Korn. Mr. Duckett, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and may I place you on, and you need to unmute, please. May I place you on oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Githia, what's the plea offer?
12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served, 2 days, a theft prevention class, and the balance will be suspended.
Okay.
In addition, Judge, I did send an email asking about this, but I haven't heard back. Mr. Duckett would like to avail himself of the first offender statute. I have explained to him the positives and negatives of that.
Any objection from the state?
No objection, looks like he's eligible.
Okay.
Go easy, Mr. Duckett.
Right.
All right, Mr. Cohen, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID, and does your client agree to these terms?
We would so stipulate, and he does agree.
Mr. Duckett, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
Have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the representation you've received?
Absolutely.
And you do understand that in accepting this, in entering this plea of guilty under the first offender statute, that you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial, to confront your accuser and examine witnesses, challenge the evidence presented against you, as well as present any defenses if you choose to do so, and also to give up your right to have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And you understand that even under the first offender statute, while you are on probation, that if you violate the terms of your probation or if you get arrested again, that your protection under the first offender statute would be revoked.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
And there's no right to appeal from this decision. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead? To one count of theft by taking?
No, nolo contendere.
Was this a guilty or nolo?
It's actually a guilty plea.
Guilty.
This would be a guilt. I thought it was a guilty under the first offender statute.
Yeah, that's how you do it for first offender.
Okay. This is a guilty plea under the first offender statute. And as indicated, once you've completed the terms of your probation to the satisfaction of probation officer, your probation will terminate. And as furthermore, this particular conviction cannot be used against you in a court of law in any subsequent proceedings if you satisfy the first offender provisions. Your sentence is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days. You'll report to probation next Thursday at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. You must report on April 13, 2023 before 3 p.m. And once you complete the anti-theft prevention class, your probation will terminate upon submission of the certificate. Any questions, Mr. Duckett?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes this case. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, on the plea and verdict form, the wrong charges are on there. If those can be crossed out and if death by taking can be placed on those documents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Duckett. Don't forget to report, and you just need to fill out anything on probation.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Duckett. You're free to go.
All right.
Okay, I have please to address for Travis Davis and Mr. Dewberry. Mr. Davis, have you sent in the paperwork?
Yes, ma'am. I just read in the chat that she couldn't print out the photos, so I just scanned it again from the printer, so I'm trying to send it over now.
Okay. Ms. Dewberry, have you sent in the paperwork? Ms. Jasmine Dewberry? All right, while we're waiting for to address Ms. Dewberry and Mr. Travis on our, one other thing, Mr. Korn, let me go ahead and make sure I send, we will file the motion to set aside Mr. Duckett's warrant.
Thank you, Judge. I forgot to mention that. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Please, we would so move.
He forgot too. I'm wondering whether he was just looking forward to it. Okay.
Yeah, he's been pretty attention detail oriented. He just missed that, I guess. He's the one who caught the mistake on page 3 of the plea form.
Okay. So, all right, that's already been sent to Ms. Younger. So, Ms. Younger, just confirm the. Right? Yep, it'll be e-filed very soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
So on the add-on final plea calendar, Yvonne Hogan, that was a plea. On the Orca E final plea calendar, Mr. Xiaoting Wang was a plea. On the status conference calendar for 9 a.m. Position 1 was a plea. Position 2, Bethea, we've denied the motion to revoke, and he's reset for jury trial for positions 2 and 3. For position 4, Mr. Bobo, that particular case, as well as its companion case, 20 CR 1980F, are both going to be reset for May 4th at 1:30 p.m. Is that correct? May 5th at 1:30 p.m. represented by PD Rafov. Positions 5, Adrian Coley is reset for jury trial. 6, Eric Colville was a plea. Position 7, Crystal Crankshaw has not reported in. Crystal Crankshaw, there was a request for a bench warrant, is granted, and a $750 surety bond. David B. Davis, position 8, is reset for a jury trial. I don't think a case management order is to issue in that one. Position 9, Travis Davis, will be a plea as soon as we get the paperwork. Position 10, Jasmine Dewberry, will be a plea as soon as we get her paperwork. Position 11, Sammy Dinkins, last call for Sammy Dinkins. Mr. Korn?
Judge, I don't know. He was here. He's been in great contact with me. I don't know what's happened. He has told me he wished to accept the plea. I would ask that. I know he wasn't excused, but I believe something probably has happened, and it's nothing. It's completely out of his control.
Ms. Githia,
I have no objection to a reset, Your Honor.
May 5th at 9 a.m. for final plea, and he must appear in person.
I will make sure that he does.
Zoom privileges are revoked.
It's only a matter of time before mine get revoked too, so why not?
No. You're still good. You only got one mistake, sir. I'm kidding. Okay, position 12 was a plea, and the motion to set aside the bench warrant has been submitted. All right, position 13 and 14, Mr. Escobar Rivera has failed to appear. Bench warrants were requested and granted. On position 13, the bond is set at $1,000 surety. Position 14 is a 500 surety. Position 15, Andrea Gilliland has failed to appear. She has an outstanding bench warrant from July 26, 2019. And this bench warrant will issue for failure to appear today, and that will be for a $500 surety bond. Position 16, Gianna Hardy is reset to May 5th on a final plea calendar to appear in person. Position 17, Mr. Headley, same announcement, May 5th, 9 a.m. to appear in person. All right, and so we're just waiting on Mr. Travis and Ms. Dewberry.
Your Honor, the final plea calendar, the other final plea calendar?
The other final plea calendar?
Ms. Hogan?
Oh, sorry. I
Tiffany
forgot.
Busby?
Yes, I'm sorry. It was my oversight. Miss Helen, what are you doing for Miss? Oh, you're going to make an announcement for Mr. Langford when Miss Githia came back. And
That is correct, Judge.
yes,
for
go
Ms.
ahead.
Mr. Langford, he does qualify. I have his application. I will be entering in my appearance, Judge. We request that these be put on for motions. These are DUI charges. And from that motions, we're going to particularize those, but we're headed towards a jury trial, Judge.
Ms. Githia, do you have any comment on this case from 2016 and 2017?
About 9 years.
I can place the offer on the record.
Go ahead.
For counts 1 and 4, it'll be 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 2 days, the balance probated, $1,000 fine, 240 hours of community service, alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment, risk reduction, and 1 victim impact panel. Counts 2 and 3 would be null pros.
I do have a question for the 240 community service. This is his, I believe, just second charge. I don't believe that there's any convictions, but if the state can let me know if he does have previous DUI convictions.
I am showing for April 22nd, 2016, he does from out of Chatham County.
And that was a conviction?
I will double check.
I apologize, Judge. Is Mr. Langford in the courtroom?
Yes, he is.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, while we're waiting on Ms. Githia, this case with Rodney Langford is going to be scheduled for a jury trial, and we'll need a case management order to issue. And we're going to reset it on the motions calendar on July 21st at 11:30 a.m.
It's not, it probably still has 11:30.
Hmm?
It's motions are at 9 now, 9 a.m.
Oh, it says 11:30 on this. Is it 9 a.m.?
Yeah, I apologize, Judge. I thought motions were at 9 a.m.
Okay, sorry. No, it was just a typo. Okay, so it'll be July 21st at 9 a.m.
Understood, Judge.
But we are going to go ahead and schedule it for a jury trial, so a case management order will issue today. Ms.
Thank you, Judge.
Githia, any confirmation of a prior conviction for DUI?
Yeah, I'm looking now.
Because I spoke to Mr. Langford, that was actually a plea for a reckless driving in Chatham County. And so we just want to verify, because I think that may change that offer.
Okay, well,
On October 5th, 2017, it was a conviction. It's not showing that it was reduced. DUI.
all right, Miss Helen. We'll see y'all on July 21st for motions calendar at 9 a.m. In the case, and pending the outcome of that motions, whatever motions y'all file, the case will be heard as a jury trial matter. Okay?
And Mr. Langford, you did hear that October 2017, it was a conviction out of Chatham County. Ms. Githia, can I have the offer one more time, please?
Yes, for counts 1 and 4, 12 months to serve, 3 days, credit for time served, 2 days, balance probated, $1,000 fine, 240 hours of community service, alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment, risk reduction, 1 victim impact panel.
Thank you so much. Is Mr. Langford excused, Judge?
Yes, he is. Mr.
Thank you so
Langford,
much.
you must come back to this courtroom on July 21st. You have Miss Helen's contact information. All right, make sure that if you change address, that we get to find that out first. If you change address, you need to come into this building, first floor, and let us know. All right, but July 21st at 9 a.m. Can you put it on a calendar on your phone? Well, I guess for the rest of the day, learn how to use your calendar on your phone.
Judge, he doesn't have a phone. He just got out, but as long as Mr. Langford knows, hey, come back to the same place, 9 a.m. for our motions, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're still waiting on Miss Jasmine Dewberry's paperwork. Miss Jasmine Dewberry. Okay. We're going to address Mr. Travis Davis. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all wanted to go over the final plea calendar in Orca.
Yes.
Tiffany Busby is reset for a final plea on May 5th at 9 a.m. with Mr. Clarence Johnson. Position 2, Jordan Coben is reset for May 5th at 9 a.m. pending an evaluation. Position 3, Dale Davis, it was a plea. Position 4, Michael Flanagan is reset to the for a jury trial, case management order to issue. And Mr. Rodney Langford is reset to the motions calendar for July 21st at 9 a.m. Pending a jury trial. Okay, so this is Mr. Position 9, State versus Travis Davis. Case number 21 CR 0000591F. Excuse me. Mr. Davis was accused of battery, family violence, and criminal trespass, domestic violence on April 4th, 2020. Mr. Davis is represented by, he's representing himself. He does not qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office, and he has completed the waiver of counsel with regards to this case. Mr. Davis, you've also been advised of your right to remain silent. May I place you under oath for purposes of this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Githia, what is the plea offer for these 2 charges?
For both counts, it is 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time served, 10 days, balance probated, a family violence intervention program, and no contact with Keoki Tolliver.
Mr. Davis, do you accept these terms?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree that the factual basis for these charges are true and correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also agree that the identity of the perpetrator, that is you, and the location of the incident in Fulton County, Georgia, are also true and correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering this plea willingly, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No, ma'am.
In entering such a plea, you would be giving up your right to a trial, to confront your accuser, have the ability to challenge the evidence and the witnesses presented against you, to be able to present any defenses if you have any that you choose to present, and also have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
This would be a conviction for a battery domestic violence that will be on your record. Any subsequent arrest for a similar offense will automatically be a felony charge. Are you aware of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you still willing to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of battery domestic violence and one count of criminal trespass domestic violence?
I plead guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months, to serve 10 days, credit for time served 10 days. You don't have any additional jail time, but you have to report to probation next Thursday on April 13th, 2023.
Okay.
Next Thursday, April 13th, before 3 p.m. The location is 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will report every month, and you will show proof that you have enrolled and started your classes for the domestic violence intervention program. You must enroll in that program within 60 days from today.
Okay.
At all times while you're on probation, you are to have no contact with Keoki Tolliver, stay 200 yards away from this person, and not communicate in person through any kind of electronic device or on social media. Would that be a problem?
No, not a problem at all.
Once you complete the domestic violence intervention program, the classes, you present your certificate, I will amend your probation to non-reporting.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. We have your email. Do we have a confirmed probation intake form for him?
I just emailed him.
All right. Did you receive the email from Ms. Younger regarding your probation?
Hold on. I haven't, yes, I just got something that just came through.
Okay. It will have the attachment for your probation.
Yes, ma'am. I have it.
Okay. We're good then. Anything else, sir?
No, thank you. No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Finally, last but not least, Miss Jasmine Dewberry. Mr. Korn, Miss Helen, you're both free to go. Miss Jasmine Dewberry.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Mr. Glanville, do we can stop the live stream and the recording, please?